proud moment, happy moment, stressful moment, crazy moment. Either way, nonetheless, it's done. Let's get started. Oh, 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 okay. As you read the title, this video will be about how I bought my property at the age of 22, my very first property. So I'm gonna get right into it. I've always been passionate. I'm just gonna get into the why I bought my property. Brought it. Where did I bring it from? Really, Rainy? Okay. With that being said, the reason why I bought my property was because I've always been passionate about being a property owner. I think I want to be a property investor. Actually, I know I want to be a property investor and I want to get into that. So I'm gonna now dive into the how I did it. So what I did was I got a job at the age of 21. It was like towards the end of the year, and I needed a car, so I had to get a car first, obviously, to take me to work, I mean, duh. So what I did was, instead of getting a brand new luxurious car, and pay installment for 6 years, I decided I didn't want that kind of weight on myself if I'm considering buying property within like the next year or so. I didn't want that baggage of having to also pay for a car and also pay for bond at the same time. I felt that it was going to be too much for me financially. It was just going to be overwhelming, and I didn't need that kind of pressure. So what I did was I've weighed my priorities. I mean, a house is something that you pay for every month. However, a house is more of an investment. A house is like an asset or something like that. When it comes to a car is a liability. A car doesn't return money to you at all. Like, it takes and it takes and it takes, more like us kids do with our parents. We take and we take. Just joking. Not all of us can do that. Anyways, a house is something that it gives back money. It may be taking and taking and taking, but chances are the value of a house can increase. A house is an investment. It doesn't lose its value. Sometimes it doesn't. Well, I'll say majority of the time it doesn't. Granted where the area is, and granted that there's no informal settlement. There's no informal settlement. Yes, I got it. I caught it. Cut the English. So I settled on having a second-hand car. So I got my dad and I got my brother, and I was like, can you guys assist me in picking out a good condition second-hand car? After that, what did I do was, I'm the type of person that I'm afraid of debt. Like, I'm afraid of debt, and I was afraid of debt a whole lot more like last year. But then I learned that there's a good kind and there's a bad kind. The good kind is when you have a great credit record, a great credit score, whichever one you want to use, record or score, either way, potato, you know what I'm saying? So I decided to go the clothing account way. And what I did was, I would buy something with the account and pay it off same time, so it like started accumulating good credit. And sometimes I'll put in extra money within my clothing account, and then that way my credit record would be great. The reason why I wanted my credit record to be great is because it has a huge impact when you go to the bank to ask for a home loan, because good credit record means that you are a reliable person, you are a responsible person, you are a trustworthy person. That's what it comes off as. So I wanted that to reflect on my credit record, so that when it comes to the bank loaning me, I wanted them to, you know, loan me for the whole house instead of, sometimes you don't get the full amount, you don't get 100% of the home loan that you require. Sometimes they decide they're going to pay 50% and you have to pay for the other 50. Sometimes they decide they're going to pay 60 and you got to pay for the 40. Sometimes they pay the 40, you got to pay the 60. You get what I'm saying? So I wanted them to assist me with 100% of it, because honestly speaking, I had money saved, but it wasn't saved enough for me to buy a house off in cash. No. So that's what I did. And then next thing I did was I went on a property app, and they have these property calculators. Guys, take advantage of these things because they are just free information. So I went on one of their property calculators. They also have them on some banking apps as well. You can utilize them there. So that's what I did. I went there, I put in my gross monthly income, I put in my expenses, and how long I'll be willing to pay for a home loan, which was, I selected 20 years, I think. So it went right ahead and calculated how much I'll be paying for per month. So it went ahead and calculated that, and like based off of my expenses and everything, what would be the most comfortable thing for me to be paying per month, like how much bond I would be comfortable paying per month financially. That's how it gave me. So I knew more or less, okay, fine, I'll be in a very, you know, comfortable space if I'm paying for this much per month. So that's what I did. I utilized the app and it started giving me figures and calculating everything. And it also has the luxury of also saying if you wish to pay, you know, 200 extra to your bond or 500 extra to your bond, this could decrease the amount of years you could be paying for your bond by this much, and it also could decrease the rates by this much. I started working out my expenses per month, things that I pay for on a monthly basis, and activities that I like to do on a monthly basis as well. I worked out how much I earn, and I started also adding certain expenses, like if I were to pay for bond, my levies, my electricity bill, my water bill, if I started paying for those things, how much would I be actually spending in a month, and how much would be left, and is this a comfortable place for me or not? And I would, if it wasn't, I would adjust the bond amount, that okay, if I pay less of this, would I be comfortable? And up until I got to a place where I was like, yes, this is what I want in my finances. I feel financially free, I'll be, you know, comfortable in my finances and everything like that, and that's what I went with. So after I did that, I went a step ahead, and I already knew which area I wanted to buy my property in, because I had already been in certain apartments where I rented out with my siblings within that same area. So I went right ahead and I went into one of my banking apps, and I started applying to get pre-qualified for a home loan. So when they asked me the area, I gave them the area like that I wanted to be in, because I already knew the area. So I got pre-qualified from the bank, and I started looking for, you know, property after that. But what I did was, I already had worked out everything. Like I said, let's say for example, I was willing to spend 100,000 on a house, you know, and I got pre-qualified for 200,000. I still decided I want to go with 100,000 no matter how much I was pre-qualified for, because I already worked out my finances and I'm going to be comfortable with paying 1,000 per month. Then I started looking into property. I obviously drew up a few things that I wanted when it came to property. I calculated my commute to work, because I have a job, I go to school, I fly, I do all of these things at once. I'm juggling everything. But what I did was I calculated the place that I go to often is work. So I'd rather live closer to work than a place that I go to 4 times in a month. You get what I'm saying? So I started looking around, and whenever the real estate agent would ask me, oh, what's your figure? Have you been pre-qualified? And I'll say yes, but however, I would lie to them and give them the amount that I'm willing to spend instead of the one I got pre-qualified for, because I don't want her taking me somewhere and showing me property and breaking my heart because now I suddenly have fallen in love with this property, but however, it's out of the price range that I actually wanted to spend for a house, and I already know that if I start paying for this, I'm not going to be comfortable financially. So I was not going to set myself up for heartbreak. Do not set yourself up for heartbreak, people. Don't give yourself chest pains and apply for those chest pains. No, don't do that to yourself. And I was not going to do that to myself. So I was telling them, no, I got pre-qualified for 100,000 for a townhouse that was in the condition that this one was in, and it was 3 bedrooms and everything. they were 100 or 200,000 more in the pricing, and this one was already like at a bargain price for me. It was at my maximum budget, where the maximum I was willing to spend on a house, and I was like, I am definitely going to put up an offer. Obviously, because I watch a lot of HGTV, they teach a lot of things like you gotta negotiate. My parents also taught me that sometimes you don't have to pay full price. If you can negotiate. So that's what I did. I tried to negotiate, but however I did ask, is the seller willing to negotiate? And they said no, they're already at the lowest that they can sell this place at, and it's pretty much already being handed off. I mean, they're pretty much handing it off already because they have priced it too low. And I also agreed, because I did make the comparisons to the other places, townhouses that were of like the same criteria as this one, and I was like, yeah, I'll be pushing it if I try to negotiate. And there's already a family up in here, so what if they go in full price and I'm still thinking I'm gonna go back and forth with these people, play cat and mouse, Tom and Jerry, while they're here doing real business? Okay, I put in the full offer, and I gave them everything they needed, and they went straight to the seller. And what I did was I applied for a FLISP. For those who don't know what a FLISP is a first-time homeowner, perk that you get. If you're buying a house for the very first time, the government assists you in buying the house. Granted, you should earn around a certain figure. The agency that's usually selling the house, they usually have a bond originator with them that gets assigned to you, and that's pretty much what happened with me. They got me a bond originator. If you don't know what a bond originator is, they basically go to all the banks and try and get a home loan for you. It's better for them to go than you, because when they go, they know they mean business. They know that this person has probably gotten a better deal from another bank. Let's try and do better as this bank and give them a better offer than the other bank. So they basically competing with the other bank, because they're like, oh, they got the bank originator up in here. This means business. When you get there, they're like, oh, okay, girl, you want a what? A home loan? Oh, we gonna get you that. Okay. So, but okay, they don't necessarily do that, but then like, it's how I imagined it. So I'm just sharing like a thought that I had. So I started going to the paperwork, started meeting up with attorneys and all the kind of stuff, signing. It was like transfer of property and all the kind of things, and eventually that was done. And guys, I was finally a proud owner of a 3-bedroom townhouse. So with that being said, I'm also grateful for my parents, the way they brought us up, how they raised my siblings and I, because what they taught us was they catered to all our needs, but when it came to our wants, they were more on to the fact that you need to learn how to work for what you want, because they were they were firm believers, not proud believers. They were firm believers of we need to teach our children to work for what they want. That way they learn to value things, which was actually a great thing to instill within us. With that being said, I'm not rushing anyone into buying property. If you feel you're ready to take on this responsibility, go right ahead and do it. Don't do it on the account of me or on the account of the fact that 22-year-olds are out here doing it, 20-year-olds, 19-year-olds are out here doing it. Don't do it on the account that all your friends are suddenly getting property. Do it because you are pacing yourself. So if you guys like this video and you got motivated by this video and encouraged, please give this video a thumbs up. If it was informative as well, give it a thumbs up. If you guys would like for me to get into details about FLISP or bond originators or how I bought my property, like do's and don'ts as well, leave a comment down below. If this was fruitful to you, also don't forget to comment down below. If you are a first-time viewer on my channel, welcome. Safe space, safe zone right here. Go right ahead and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the bell notification so you get notified each and every single time that I post new content on my YouTube. With that being said, guys, that was a mouthful. Be kind, love and light.